Hello everyone, Charles Watts here, the Arsenal correspondent at Goal, joining you on, what day is it today? Tuesday. There you go. It's all mixing into one this international break, but Tuesday we are edging closer towards the return of Premier League football. England in action later tonight. Hopefully Bukayo Saka can feature at Wembley against Hungary, isn't it? After that win against Andorra last time out. I'll talk a little bit in this video about some of the international success. There's been plenty actually. It's been a good international break for Arsenal players. So we'll talk about that a little bit in this video. But I wanted to start off about Gabriel Martinelli. I think I've seen Martinelli's name mentioned more during this international break than any other Arsenal player. He seems to be a player that lots and lots of people are talking about. It's a player that I get lots of questions about. So I thought I'd just talk a little bit about Martinelli's situation at Arsenal right now, where he stands and what possibly could be done for Martinelli going forward. Now, first of all, as far as I'm concerned, Martinelli still remains a very, very key player at Arsenal. There is a lot of belief in Gabriel Martinelli. You know, he's given a long-term contract not long ago. Yes, he's not been playing too much recently, but there is still a firm belief that, you know, he's very much part of the future of Arsenal. But it doesn't really mean necessarily, that he's going to play week in, week out. Well, he's not playing week in, week out, is he? That's clear at the moment. And he's finding things a little bit difficult at Arsenal after that brilliant start that he had under Unai Emery when he was playing mainly in the Europa League group stages in the early rounds of the Carabao Cup. He had that great goal-scoring run. You kind of felt like Arsenal had landed themselves an absolute gem, and I still think they have landed themselves an absolute gem, but he's not really been able to replicate that sort of scoring form after that. It's kind of in and out the sides under Unai as well as under Mikel. Not really given too many opportunities in the Premier League. And when you look at the way the Arsenal squad is made up and the team is made up at the moment, you don't really see too many opportunities for him going forward, certainly as a starter at the moment, because you still got the question of where does Martinelli play? Is he best as a central striker or is he best at playing on the left-hand side? There's always been a large swell of opinion that he should play as a central striker, but when he has played there, he has struggled at times. Not all the time, but he has struggled at times. I still think, personally, for me, he's best at the moment when he's coming in off the left-hand side rather than the centre. I just don't think he's strong enough right now to play as a central striker, especially if you're playing just as with one up front. So I think he's best on the left-hand side. And the issue you got there is there's a certain, you got either Bukayo Saka, who I think was better on the right anyway, but at the moment with Martin Odegaard coming in as going to be the number 10, then you've got Emile Smith Rowe playing out on the left. And if you haven't got Emile Smith Rowe, then you can have Nicolas Pepe over there. So you just struggle to really see how Gabriel Martinelli can get regular game time at the moment without European football to offer him this season, the group stages and all those sort of group games which were perfect for him. And certain other players as well. That's why I think, and I know plenty of people disagree with me on this, but I really think a loan move in January would be a good thing for Gabriel Martinelli. The only issue I have with it is, obviously, if you get a couple of injuries for Arsenal, because I imagine if you sent him out on loan in January, I don't think you bring in a replacement in January for him. You just send him out on loan and hope you've got enough to cover for him. When you look at the players involved, who I've mentioned there in terms of, Saka can play on the left, Emile Smith Rowe can play on the left, Nicolas Pepe can play on the left. You would hope that there's enough cover for him there that if you do send him out and there are a couple of injuries, you're still not going to be left really, really short. But there is always that little bit of a concern. But I still think it would do him good. And I said the same about Hector Bellerin as well. And I think Martinelli's in a similar camp. What good is it going to do at his stage of his career? You've got to be playing regularly, I think, to really sort of stay fine-tuned. And he's not really going to be playing regularly at Arsenal. He might get the odd 20 minutes, 30 minutes. He might get the odd start as well, but not regularly. But if he goes out on loan somewhere, and the way that Arsenal work with their loans, they tend to do things very, very well now in that department. Ben Napper, the loan manager, is fantastic. They really try and pick the right club for a player. And if you do pick the right club for Martinelli and he gets 5 months of playing regular first-team football, whether it be in the Premier League or abroad somewhere, it could do him the world of good. And I just feel like that's where Martinelli needs to be right now. He needs to be playing and he needs to be playing regularly. If it's not going to happen at Arsenal, then you may as well get him out on loan because you've got him tied down to a long-term contract. I don't think he's going to be too annoyed at going out on loan. I think he'd probably like it. And it just feels the best sort of stage for him at his career right now. I know Martinelli is a player that everyone loves. The way he plays, the energy he brings, his commitment. Everyone loves Martinelli. I love Gabriel Martinelli, and I want him to be a success at Arsenal. I don't want him to go elsewhere, and Arsenal end up selling him. I think that'd be a crying shame because there's so much quality there. You don't do what he did when he first arrived if you're not a very special, talented young player, and he definitely is. But there's no doubt that you kind of look at Martinelli right now and think in the last 12 months or so he has stagnated a little bit because he's just not getting enough game time. So he needs to go out and play. And I think in January, if things stay the same way, which I believe they will, because I just can't see how things are going to really change between now and January, that you just send him out somewhere, get him some really regular game time between now and the end of the season, so he can come back in the summer and really stake his claim, and try and put the pressure on the likes of Saka and Smith Rowe and Pepe, even Aubameyang. If he can go somewhere and prove himself as a central striker and prove he has the ability to deal with the sort of physical side of things, and sort of improves the way he holds the ball up, that sort of thing, then he can come back and have a really good go at trying to muscle his way into a starting spot as a striker for Arsenal. Because let's face it, the striker spots at Arsenal are very much up for the grabs, or they will be very, very soon. When you look at the age of Lacazette, his contract situation, and you look at the age of Aubameyang as well. So just personally for me, I really think the best thing for Gabriel Martinelli in January is a loan move, as long as done to the right club and he goes somewhere where he is going to play. It's no good him going somewhere and then sitting on the bench and only getting the odd minute here or there out on loan. You may as well stay at Arsenal if that's going to be the case. So you've got to really work hard. The loan manager, Ben Napper, like I said, Arteta, Edu, and really find a good club for him. Now, whether it happens, we'll have to wait and see. Arsenal probably more likely than not, they'll end up keeping him till the end of the season, and might look to assess things in the summer. But for me, I just think January sounds like a good option for me. Send him out on loan. Please agree with me, disagree with me, let me know as always. Drop those comments in, then let me know your thoughts on what Arsenal should do with Gabriel Martinelli. Okay, internationals. Like I said, it's been a good international break for Arsenal. Plenty of players have scored goals. Emile Smith Rowe, the latest of them yesterday for England under 21s. Really good day for Emile Smith Rowe's first international goal at under 21s level. It was the winner against Andorra, and he was named player of the match. So very good night for Emile Smith Rowe. Really important goal. He's been speaking after that game. He's kind of speaking about how Arteta wants him to score more goals. And comments Arteta has made about him in that regards. And this is what he had to say. He said talking about Arteta, has spoken to us and given us so much confidence to stay calm, in front of goal. We know we're going to be getting into these positions because we're both young. He's talking talking about him and Bukayo Saka there. He says, because we're both young players, we've got to stay as calm as possible and just focus on the goal, really. We've been practicing a lot in training and after training, and we get the support from the experienced players in the team as well. They're always helping us. It's really good at Arsenal. We're really happy with the help that we're getting. I think the goal he scored yesterday, you've probably seen it, the pace he showed on that counter-attack after Curtis Jones had played him in. Absolutely rapid, Smith Rowe. He showed it against Tottenham for Aubameyang's goal as well. Even when he's got the ball at his feet, he is deceptively quick. Emile Smith Rowe, he really showed it with that goal yesterday. But what really impressed me was the way he took that goal, because he had a lot of time to think about it. It was a long old one-on-one running on the goalkeeper. And maybe at times we've seen him and Saka not be so calm in front of goal, but it was a really good finish. Gave the keepers the eyes, sent him the wrong way, rolled the finish into the bottom corner. Really calm finish from Smith Rowe. And that's where he's talking about there. So I thought that was interesting when he says we've got to stay as calm as possible and just focus on the goal, and that Arteta has given him a lot of confidence. Also interesting, he talks about there the experienced players have been helping him and staying behind after training. You think the likes of Aubameyang and Lacazette are going to be very, very key in that. Lacazette especially is a player you always hear the young players talk about in terms of the support he gives them and the advice he gives them. So long may that continue, because if Arsenal are going to have a good season this season, they need Smith Rowe and Saka to score goals, because they need goals from those attacking wide areas. You can't just rely on Aubameyang or the strikers to score goals. And there was plenty of international success, not just Saka. We've seen Pepe scored yesterday, Aubameyang scored yesterday. We saw earlier on in the international break, Saka scored, Thomas Partey scored. Birif scored for Denmark under 19s yesterday. Miguel Aziz scored a really good goal for the England under 20s as well. So plenty of goals scored by Arsenal players. It's been a really good international break so far, and still a couple of games to go. Could well add to that tally. I'm not sure Saka's going to start for England tonight. Probably be on the bench, I'd imagine, but you might get on as a substitute, and so might get an opportunity to add to his goal tally. Okay, before I go quickly, just want to talk about some comments from Hector Bellerin. He's given an interview over in Spain. Obviously, he is on loan with Real Betis at the moment. Some interesting comments, I thought. He was talking about his move. Now, he's taken a big pay cut to join Real Betis because they couldn't afford his full salary. They weren't really sure until literally only a couple of hours before the move was done on deadline day how much they were going to be able to offer Bellerin, because of the way it works, La Liga, you've got a sort of set wage structure that you've got to fit in with, and to get Bellerin in, they had to move a player out on the final day. They had to move him onto their B team, and that freed up a little bit of space in the wage bill, and that was how much they had to give him. And this is what Hector has had to say. So talking about having to reduce his wages, he said, "It's clear that money is something important because it is our job, but I think in football, that love of sport, the club, is being lost. And for me, after having understood and had that feeling since childhood, there are things that you have to put first. This past year and a half has made me rethink many things. For me and for everyone, it was an effort to carry out the operation, not only from the point of view of money, but also how much it cost to get us here. In the end, those efforts paid off, and I had other priorities when making my decision." And I know definitely that Hector has foregone a lot of money to push through this move to Real Betis. He wanted a change. He was desperate to get out of Arsenal for many reasons, not just Arsenal, more England as well. The coronavirus pandemic was pretty tough on Hector after his operation as well. He wanted to go back. He wanted to be closer to his family. And, that's why he talks about there that it's not just about money for him. And very, fine comments indeed from him. When he was also asked, where do you see yourself next June when this loan deal with Betis, because there isn't an obligation or any sort of purchase option in that deal, where he sees himself, he said, "I don't know, but I've always said I didn't want to be next season, I wouldn't have come from the beginning. There are many things to be decided, but what I want to do is enjoy this season I'm here, and then what will happen will happen." All right, that's it from me, everyone. Thank you very much for watching. As always, I'll try and get another one done from tomorrow if I can. Mikel Arteta will be speaking to us on Thursday ahead of the Palace game on Monday night, so watch out for that press conference. And again, as usual, I'll try and do a video after that discussing what Mikel has had to say. All right, everyone, have a very good day. I'll speak to you soon.